Chasers, today we have another episode of Soul Connections. I have Dr. Linda Salvin with me here today. How are you?
I'm good, Storm. How are you today? You look bright and cheery.
Bright and cheery, and look, I got a couple of extra lights. I can't take a couple of extra lights.
Okay.
Happy Easter! Happy Easter! If you
Happy
celebrate
Easter
it.
to you. It is Easter Sunday. Not that I celebrate, and I just celebrated Passover. And we all have our own beliefs and how we were raised, and maybe how we grew up or outgrew and decided to take on our own spiritual belief system. It's stories. It's been passed on for decades and millennium. But you and I were talking. Was it you or was somebody else? I forget. But religious congregations, whether it's Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Hindu, Buddha, the entire spectrum of religious gatherings in general, the population is decreasing as the spiritual movement increases. This new generation is changing where they're not just in the box.
No. They're not just, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to read this book. I have to look a certain way. I have to dress a certain way. People are now trying to find their own way.
Well, tradition will always stand. I remember as a child, I would watch my friends and even us, we'd get dressed up in our Sunday dresses and our Sunday shoes. And Easter kids would wear their Easter outfits to church, or with us, we would go to the Seder with family or friends and do the matzah thing and the wine and all that. It's tradition, and it keeps the story going, the crucifixion of Christ, and then the Jews leaving Egypt. And then when Pharaoh said, no, you can't go, and Moses came and God opened up the Red Sea and people got to leave. And that's when the Jews left Egypt. There's stories. And probably if I went through past lives again, I'd probably see myself understanding it even more. I did have a past life experience where I was at the crucifixion of Christ. I got way deep in my subconscious at one point during some regression. I was there. So it's an old soul.
It actually happened.
It actually happened. I'm an old soul. So are you. I bet if you had past life regression, you would see it. And for those that don't understand it, you have to find a professional who knows how to take you back in time. So I'm born in 1954. It took 3 days to prepare me. So from like 1954, maybe it was like 1999 at the time. I don't remember. Or 1990. Maybe it was in the 80s actually. So say it was 1983. So they took me from 1983 to maybe 1979. And I would stair step going backwards. Then I would go from 79 to maybe 62. And you start seeing your life. Right. Then when you get to when you were born, me, 1954, you were what, 1980, 1990, where are you?
1993.
1993, right. Sorry, you're 30 this year. Old people can't think. So when you get to 1954, then you start going into the past lives. It's like going down an elevator and then they ask if you're ready to descend. You got to prepare because it's shocking. So I may have gone back to the 40s where I believe I saw the concentration camps, and then you go back and yeah. So I've had flashes of like when I'm in a crowd at a concert, I'll think of the camps. It's weird how I associate, but it's a flashback or a deja vu, even though I might have been going to see the Rolling Stones, but really the memory was in the camps. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you go past and you go into maybe the 30s or the 20s or the 10s and the 1800s. And then you're in a stagecoach. And along the way, you take it all the way back. And after a couple of sessions, I did get back to the crucifixion where there were thousands of people lined up on this dirt road. And there I was. But along the way, you stop and you find either your mom, your dad, boyfriends, girlfriends, relationships, people you've known, people have caused problems. You see the karma, you see the past life interaction that you've been here before with them. It's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting. I went as far back as the 1800s, but if I could go back and see wow, I'd be a changed man when I woke up.
Yeah.
I'd be one of those crazy people. Person. I'd be one of those crazy people on the side of the road saying, "Get saved." Jesus
lives. It's real. It's real.
I totally would.
It's real. It's real. So did you do anything for Easter today?
I slept the whole day. I don't.
It's been a lazy day for me too.
Yeah, it's been a lazy
it's
day.
It's relaxing.
True. And I don't have kids, so I don't have to color no eggs, and I don't have to.
No Easter egg hunt.
No, God, no, and I don't have to wear the outfits and they all do the pose for Instagram.
Yes, they do. Everybody's showing off their bodies and their smiles. Speaking of which,
speaking of bodies,
you and I have been talking lately. Plastic surgery can be nice for some people. Others overdo it. Some doctors destroy lives by making them look like monsters. And there's plenty of celebrities that regret having had a lot of surgery. I sent you an article the other day of that girl, I forget her name. She spent $600,000 for plastic surgery to look like Kim Kardashian.
Yep. And now she's trying to transition.
She wants to go back to herself. She got bored pretending to be Kim or getting the attention that Kim might be getting because this girl was being annoyed. She found it annoying.
But you know what's funny? It's okay to admire someone who is attractive or smart or this or that, whatever, right? But you can never be them. If you try to copy them, the best you will ever be is number 2 versus being the only you. There's only one of you. I don't know. Like, she was an idiot. I don't know any other way to say it.
The soul and emotions, the memories, growing up as a little girl, wherever she grew up, wherever she was, she's where is she overseas somewhere? Was she Turkish or Greek? I forget her nationality.
Somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I didn't really read the whole thing. I scanned it. It was just more about the money that she spent to look one way and then the money to undo and go back to who she was. But she's still who she was when she was born. She's still the girl that went through school or college or whatever social activities, or if she had whatever with her family. That mindset is still inside her, regardless of the body change. The body change gave her different experiences as who she was. And a lot of times, a lot of people go through massive body change because they hate themselves so much, they think they will become somebody different. But you wake up one day and there's still you inside. I think I mentioned one time on the show, I had a client, a male client, who went in from head to toe. He was in a rehab for 30 days while he healed. He had everything done, nip tuck from head to toe. And they came over one day and said, not happy. I said, because it didn't change you. It changed the outside.
You just changed the outside. Is that the one that was the con artist?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, wait, I think you told me this story before. But yeah. And I've even said on the show that I'm going to get a little work done. But when I do it, it's going to be...
It's subtle.
I'm not trying to look like another person. I will end up looking
that's crazy. Different when you got the big fish lips or the sunken cheeks. I had my neck done. I was born with my grandmother's double chin. And when I finally decided about 5-6 years ago, I didn't want it anymore. I called my dad. I said, I'm getting rid of grandma's chin. I just had it. And I sucked out the fat. But you can't really tell unless you see a picture of me from before. I had a double chin.
It looks natural. I would never know.
Yeah, no, because I didn't have so much work done that I'm like, hi, Storm, how you doing? I was at a restaurant the other night, and there was a celebrity who became a celebrity because of her horrible work. Wow. I mean, I can't even pretend to look as deformed as this poor girl did. I can only imagine how she feels. If you're bullied growing up, then you're going to be bullied looking like a freak.
True.
So bullying is going to continue regardless of what you do. The key is learning how to forgive or to get rid of the resentment or to work through the anger and to work through all of what we fight in life to accept ourselves, and then the peace flows. Then you go out and work and do your thing and find new people to hang out with, as opposed to trying to fit in. Even Jane Fonda now in the press has been saying she regrets all the plastic surgery she's had. A lot of the Celebs are getting rid of the fillers and the fake boobs, and now we're seeing the Brazilian butts coming out. They just want to be themselves.
And I mean, it gets old, I would imagine, to have that much. Honestly, well, let's double back. I think a lot of them were having health problems as well. Like,
Maybe.
Stuff with the body. It just.
Well, a lot of times I know the breast implants will leak.
Oof.
The implants can leak. Sometimes they would get cancer, or sometimes they would get sick, depending on if the saline. It's a pouch. If you've ever seen what it looks like, it's just a pouch with the saline. It's like a balloon. And they cut you open and they stick it in, and all of a sudden you look great. You got a great chest. At the age of 70, mine kind of fell down. But there's a solution. There's something online that says if I rub my breasts with olive oil, they'll perk up again.
I don't know what website you were on. That's a different website.
Yeah, now it's olive oil for the breast tissue. Okay, I'll start.
But you know what's funny, Linda? You're 70. That's supposed to.
Yeah.
You're 70.
Almost.
But if I saw a 70-year-old and she was like this, I would be like,
no, something's wrong, dude. Something's really wrong, right? No, I guess in the last week, we're in spring. I have 3 friends who just turned 70. I'm like 6-8 months behind my class because I skipped 2nd grade, so I was always one of the runts. But everybody's freaking out like, oh my God, how'd we get here? Because it goes so fast. You're turning 30. I won't be here when you're 70. I doubt it in 40 years. But you'll remember or look back at this and you'll think, she was right. It goes so fast. Right now you're climbing. You get to a certain point and you start coasting and you go, oh my God, how did it happen? It just.
No, I remember when I turned 20 and now I'm about to be 30. And I'm just like,
what?
Ooh. Like what? And I was actually talking to my grandma who's turning 71 the end of the month.
That's why I always joke with you and on this show. I'm old enough to be your grandma.
It's okay. But she's just like, yeah, she's like, the time flies. And I'm like,
did she tell you it goes faster as you get older?
Yeah. And she told me enjoy it. And then every conversation still goes into, well, I just want you to find a nice girl and get married. And typical grandma stuff, but it starts off normal.
Right. And you will in a few years. You're almost there. I think you're going to relocate. I think you're going to change things around again. I think you're going to go into a different direction and draw on a different type of people, just like you're going to redo your show content. We outgrow certain things. I do. You can't stay the same forever. Some people can. They just do the same thing for 30 years and retire. I'm not that person. You're not that person. You will always be a communicator, but you're always a spiritual seeker. You're always looking for more.
I agree. And I thought about it the other day. I'm like, you know what? I know we talked about Tina Turner last week and how she said she would do something spiritual. Honestly, if I could work in the spiritual field, I would love that in some kind of way because it's, you're doing when you're
in service.
Yes.
You're helping.
But I still want to be rich. Listen.
You can. It's kind of hard to do spiritual work and have money at the same time. It's learning how to balance the physical world with the spiritual world. That's the key.
Yeah, because I don't want to be poor.
Excuse me.
I don't want to be
poor. You won't. You wouldn't. I think there's ways that you can segue into that. Especially you can do spiritual work even with the nutritional products you have because it helps people grow emotionally, physically, and spiritually by improving health based on DNA. You have an opportunity. You're just not there yet to make that more of a focal point. I think you're leaning more towards helping or gearing topics into another field as opposed to just celebrity gossip. You're great at what you do. That's how you've built your reputation so far. And it's this whole other side of your personality that everybody thrives on. What they don't understand is inside, you're getting a little bored or tired and researching the same guy, different girl, same girl, different guy.
This person's boinking this person and this person.
After a while, do we care?
But even people are looking like when I read comment sections on different blogs, they're just like,
Facts.
Is this it? Literally, they'll say, "Is this any of our business?" You know, because
No.
everything is about exposing, exposing, exposing. And 2, 3 years ago, oh my god! But now it's just like people are
Because we've
like,
been inundated and now we're getting tired of it. And when it was
yeah,
brand new and social media was like, oh my God, Instagram and you can document everything on YouTube, or now it's TikTok, right? And it's all in
now
your
it's
face.
TikTok. Yep, yep.
You know, who lives where, what kind of house they build in, what kind of car did they buy. And it's like I was just telling you before the show, you know, okay, I made some money, so I bought a designer purse that I had to have, but now I'm returning it because I looked at it. I had it for a couple of days. The thrill is gone, as they sang on the song. It's like it didn't fix what I thought it might. I don't have to have that bag. I don't.
Buyer's remorse. Yeah.
It is a buyer's remorse. And then I think, what's that all about? It's like I'm looking to fix something inside. I need to feel stimulated. So that's why people do drugs, have promiscuous sex, smoke a lot of dope, got to go shopping. We all have something to try to fix.
Okay,
But
stop there, because you're the second person to tell me that. my friend up in New York, she always says, she's like, you have a need to be very stimulated, and I'm like, no, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, listen, you drink 10 cups of coffee. She said you have 30-person orgies. You have a need to be stimulated. She said it just comes in weird doses,
and then you crash from it until you're normal, and then you got to go back and do it again. So what's that balance that you're looking for? But if you don't have stimulation, then you're not even sure you're alive. We all need stimulation. We all do. But to excess, or it becomes addictive, or it becomes necessary, or it interferes with the well-being, or it becomes the reality versus the reality, that's where people get confused, especially in addictive situations, drugs, alcohol, porn, sex. It can become love, gambling. Well, love, it's not always love, because there's so many different types of love. There's obsessive love. There's romantic love. There's real communicative love with partnership. But a lot of times the love life's in our head. We're talking to the guy or the girl. We're waiting for them to show up. You know, oh God, he's not texting me. Did he leave? Did he ghost me? I mean, you know, as a psychic, I get these questions all the time. It's like, what am I supposed to say? You'll hear from him. But if a guy stops texting, I don't think he's interested.
I don't think he's interested. Let it go. But you know what? You have a darn good point about that, about getting obsessive about things. Because I notice I do struggle with balance. I can get very, very obsessive about certain things and then completely lose interest.
Yep.
And then
after you've saturated it,
and then lose interest.
You lose interest because you've had enough of it. Or I realized the other day I had to tell myself, okay, you're being very OCD with your phone. I have to scroll and scroll and scroll. Put it down. I got to look again. What's changed in 5 minutes on Instagram or Facebook that I might have missed? I'm like, Linda, what are you doing? There's something else to do. Okay. Right now I've been binge watching a series that my friend said watch, and I thought, all right, I'll get into it. Well, now it's a week and a half later, and I got probably 1 more year to go. You know, but it's absorbing and it's stimulating. And if I'm out, I got to go home and finish. It's like coming home to feed the dog. I got to do it. But they're roping us in. That's kind of how society's brainwashing us or mesmerizing us. And it's not new. I mean, orgies were going on in the days of the
Roman Empire.
Oh, even before that, in Egypt or whatever. It's not new. It's just now you have a choice how much of it you need, or have you had enough of that lifestyle? What do you want to do with your time now, or your body, or your mind? Everything we do, we either continue, we hit bottom, or you find the balance as to, okay, I want a little bit of that and a little bit of this, and now I want to incorporate more as opposed to just being focused in that direction.
I agree.
Yeah, and you wake up to what really feels good, just like surgery. Go back to plastic surgery. There are people who have been literally addicted to having plastic surgery. They needed more and more and more done.
I don't want to be that person, though. No. I really don't.
You know, you can become, I got to have my thighs. I got to have my arms. I got to have the back.
Now they have shoulder implants. They have pec implants.
Yeah.
They could. I mean, it's a whole.
It's
They
a
have
whole industry.
calf implants. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because they don't want to do all the work to make their calves look good. Yeah, you can be bionic and plastic, whatever, but where are you going to go with it?
Nowhere unless I'm gonna nowhere. Nowhere.
I mean, if they're in the movies and they need a size 0.5 for the role, I understand that. But not every single person or every female is a 0.
And that's okay. And I don't, I remember once upon a time it was like, okay, you wanted a nice rack, a nice bottom, somewhat of a flat stomach, but now it's like people want their waist this tiny and their hips this wide, and I'm just like, that's not a
No, it's not
human.
normal, but then they're doing the corset look like they did in the 1800s. That's the new look for today. You saw it at the Grammys, you saw it at the Oscars. They're all tight in the waist,
They can't
big hips.
breathe.
No, they can't breathe, but who cares? They look good. Right?
Speaking of who cares, I remember and people laugh at me when I talk about this, but it's absolutely true. When Kim wore Marilyn Monroe's dress,
Yeah, up at the Met.
yeah, that we now know she allegedly took Ozempic to be able to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Anyway,
As opposed to just eating all those vegetables, right?
all those vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was not Marilyn's body type, so you would not have been able to fit that dress. Anyway, and she tore it and ruined it. But anyway,
She tore it. She ruined it. It'll never
was,
be the same. It was an icon,
awful.
but that's Kim. She can do what she wants.
She can do what she wants,
Just
but
like the salad she thinks she discovered that I told you my parents were eating at that restaurant 50 years prior. Go on.
exactly. But I remember I was watching the show, and everybody was like, "How are you going to use the bathroom? The dress is so tight, you can't." And she said, "Well, I'm just gonna pee down my leg and have my assistant wipe me up." And I am like, the level of I don't give a fuck to walk around smelling like piss to be able to fit in a
In
dress.
one of the most iconic dresses in the world, on
So
top of it.
not only did she tear this dress up, she pissed in it. I'm just like, oh my god.
But she's a Kardashian. She's allowed to.
I'm like, this is why I make fun of you. I do not feel bad about dragging them. This is why, like, who does? And you cannot pay me enough to what?
Teach their own. People will do anything to be part of the team.
I guess me and you are just not team players because I'm not.
No, but I did hire Kris Jenner, and I paid her $25,000 to be the co-host of my TV infomercial many years ago. Before online became huge, there were infomercials on TV, and before they had Keeping Up with the Kardashians, yes, I worked with Kris Jenner on my Candle Magic show on Wicks of Wisdom, and Bruce was Bruce before Bruce transitioned to Caitlyn, and Kylie and Kendall were 4 and 5 years old on the set. They came to visit one day. And, that was before they were all Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That didn't even exist. This was 06, and they started in 07 on E. Everything changed. Everything changed, yeah. Somebody sent me a text yesterday on Instagram. Let me look for it. And he wants me to interview this guy in my show. Just for those listening, I do have my own channel, and Storm helped me. It's called the Dr. Linda Salvin channel. He says that I should interview an exclusive interview with the Kim Kardashian Ruin My Life guy. His name is Green Girl Met David Levinson, the man who has been traveling across the country holding the Kim Kardashian Ruin My Life.com sign.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, we should probably bring him on and see what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm going to do the story, but it was basically they threatened him, took his ideas allegedly, and then we had something called Kimojis, but he started it. So
everybody's got something. I did a lot of work for somebody recently, and I know he stole all my ideas, and I can't prove it, but in retrospect now I know, he asked for some details for some segments, and I realized I was being taken advantage of. And you got to be careful. You don't know, but you can't go after everybody. You can't prove it. This guy wants the fame and fortune and recognition, which is why he's using that incident as his platform. That's his calling. That's his signage to say that, Kim ruined me. So he's going across country talking about it. That's his shtick.
It's gonna be interesting for sure. Let's play this video here. So this is what the lady who changed herself. This is what she looked like before the surgery.
How long ago was the surgery, Storm? I don't remember.
Okay, she's 29. The surgery, I want to say maybe
A couple years ago.
no, over the course of 12 years.
Oh, was it her whole 20s, all her 20s? Even
And she's
in her
only
teens?
29.
Yeah, so it started when she's probably about 18. She was obsessed. Okay, here you see the facelift starting to look like Kim.
Wow. And she's Brazilian. She's Brazilian.
I knew she was somewhere outside the US.
Wow. Okay, let's play the clip. Let's play the clip.
$600,000.
Wow.
That's a house. That's a house. That hurts so much. Those needles hurt. That Botox stuff, those fillers, that's painful. No, the doctor did a gorgeous job. They did beautiful work.
They did amazing work. My question is, as all the fillers come out, I think they said it's metabolized by the body, but how is that gonna feel draining all out? Like,
I don't know. I never had it. I don't want it. You know, a lot of the celebrities have removed the fillers or stopped getting injections so that their face, Simon Cowell, Courtney Cox, they've all admitted it, you know, in different interviews. They're no longer injecting the injectables. They don't want it. And they looked sullen or sunken, and they realized they were looking funny. And people are going just back to being themselves, just like Richard Gere. I have loved Richard Gere all my life, and he's probably about 5 years older than me. So I watched his career all through time, especially on Officer and a Gentleman and Pretty Lady, Pretty Woman and all that. But now he's in his 70s. He's gray. He's got wrinkles. He's handsome, but he's aging. So some article came up and said, is he ugly? I'm like, hell no, he's not ugly. But in today's standards, what? Because he's not under the knife and he didn't dye his hair and he's aging gracefully. He dresses beautifully. He's still married, probably lives in the Hamptons still. What's wrong with just being normal and natural?
Nothing. There should be nothing wrong with that. I mean, the other person who also changed themselves. Wait, I'll pull it back up. And her face looks good now. I mean, she still has a ways to go, I think, but Black China, she got a lot of that.
She just had a lot of it removed. Yes, she did.
And she looks a lot better.
Well, she looks more natural. She doesn't look as, quote, plastic. That's when people say you look plastic. But she had to do it when she was especially involved with the Kardashian wheel and all that. Or she became who she thought she had to be for the media or for her fame and fortune or whatever. And after a while, it's like wearing a mask. It's wearing a hat. You're tired. Yeah. Look over here when she was blonde and the lips. And now she's just going back to who she is.
I just can't believe she thought that looked good. She looked like a cat.
Yeah, she did. She did. Those are kind of like the lips and the facial features I saw with this woman on a woman at a restaurant in Beverly Hills the other night. It was really pathetic. It was sad to see this woman, and I'm thinking, who's bullying her, and how lonely does she feel, or how embarrassed does she feel? She's got to get up every day, look in the mirror, and look at that. It's bad enough just seeing yourself and knocking yourself, because none of us goes, hey, hi, good morning. I'm so glad to see you. You know, you got to talk yourself into the moment and work up to getting out of bed to feel good and brace the day, right? But to have had a bad facelift, I don't know how the doctors do it and then walk away after their $60,000 or $80,000 or whatever they charge, how they deliberately screw somebody's face up. Are they enjoying it? Are they sadistic? How do they do that?
But see, I've been watching, I've been studying, I've been researching the plastic surgery field for a long time. And I do have to be honest, Linda, a lot of times they tell people, you don't need anything done. I wouldn't touch this if I were you. And they go, I want it anyway. Or they go get one nose job and it's not small enough. And it's like,
they go back and have it done again, or they have another doctor do what the other doctor said no. So they find somebody to do it and then somebody screws it up. Or what about those horrible way off topic situations where you find out that somebody went to a plastic surgeon who wasn't even a licensed doctor, and they ended
Well,
up
that's
with
when they go out the
cement,
country. Oh,
or
yeah.
they have cement and they die, or
Mhm.
they have lipo and it's not done properly. Kanye's mother, for some reason, passed away after lipo. Remember?
Well, it was two issues. Number one, she was told not to get it because
Oh,
she
was
had
she?
hypertension and heart issues.
Okay, so she reacted cardiovascular. Okay.
But number two, the issue was she didn't want to go to a real recovery center because she wanted to keep the surgery a secret. So she had her niece, who was a nurse, take care of her.
He
And
wasn't qualified.
no, and it's just like, and I'm not trying to be fun. I'm not trying. It was a
No,
long
but if
time
you're going to
ago.
shortchange medical treatment, you're going to get hurt. There are certain people licensed and
Yes,
certified and trained to do certain
their
medical
job.
procedures. Yeah.
Like,
Just
come,
because you're a nurse doesn't mean you can
you
nurse
can take
everybody.
care of me. And
No.
this, if my son is Kanye West, I'm getting the best of the best. I'm not cutting corners.
But
Listen,
she did, and look what happened. It's sad.
I love my family. I don't trust any of them to take care of me if I need surgery. None.
That's why you're hanging out with me and not them on Easter.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
You get along with them once in a while. I get it. No, the truth is, when it comes to surgery, it's not fun. It's painful. There's a recovery time. And if you've gone to a really good doctor, thank God you'll come out looking normal or hopefully better. But there's a lot of people that are harmed. I mean, look at the TV show Botch. They make a show out of fixing the botched surgeries. I'm not insulting people who have plastic surgery. I'm not condemning it or condoning it. But if you're going to have plastic surgery, do it for the right reason.
Yes.
If it's a little nip and tuck to make you feel a little better, that's one thing. If you really have droopy eyelids at the age of 50 or 60, fine. But to have a nose job at 14, you don't know how you're going to be in a few years as you mature. Just like your body doesn't really start to evolve till you're almost in your 20s, where you fill out. So you don't know what your features are going to be. Well, yes, we all look awkward when we're like 10, but we don't know that we think we're the only one feeling funny. We think we're the only ugly duckling. We think everybody's judging us. And a lot of times they are. It's an awkward age, and growing up isn't easy. But as you start to find yourself and you accept more of who you are, you're not going to see flaws as much as your own beauty. And that's what I try to do to help people in my private sessions. It's more about the self-worth, self-esteem, and get beyond the negativity and the bullying. And I was horribly bullied. I've talked about it. But you learn to find the voice of reason and how to talk yourself into what's positive versus the negatives. And all of a sudden you start to feel better. And then I bring God in, I bring spirituality, and I bring the faith and the courage and releasing the resentment and the fears. And all of a sudden the integration takes place. But a lot of people think getting the physical done with these gorgeous eyes and high cheekbones and the big fat lips and the big boobs and the butt is going to fix it. No, because inside, it's still an inside job of emotion, of thought, of personality. Like with Black China, when she was blonde and looked like a cat, what was going through her mind? What persona did she develop to work that body? And then somewhere down the line, even after the Robert Kardashian thing and all of what she went through, she discovered it didn't fit. The body and her soul weren't matching. So I think she got, like a lot of people, having it undone, she got back to herself. Pamela Anderson's another example. You know, if you watch the documentary that's out now on TV, I think it's Netflix, it's beautiful about how she rose to fame and as a Playboy bunny and what she got with Baywatch and then with Tommy Lee and all that. But in her 60s now, all that's behind her. She's got her regular body. She's happy. I think she's in her 50s or 60s. Yeah.
God.
Google it. I'm not sure exactly, but she's not that. Yeah, I think she's up there. I think
I think you're right. It made me feel.
Because you see her as this beach blonde.
Like I remember Baywatch. I was a kid, but I remember.
Well, we're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you were close. She's 55.
Okay, well, it's a lot better than 35. I mean, she's closer. She's mid-age. She's 55, but she found that even though she had her fame and fortune and looked great, and she was photographed more than God at the time, she was the most active actress for a long time, and it's great. She made a career. But after a while, she didn't want publicity just for her body. She has a mind. She has a soul. She raised two great kids. If you learn her story, you hear the sensitivity of a woman who came from abuse and what happened to her as a child. You hear her trials and tribulations, but when you're in front of the camera and you're all dolled up or you're TNA and you're just gorgeous to look at, people don't know the inside story of who makes you you.
They dehumanize you. If you're
Well,
extremely unattractive, you get dehumanized, and if you're extremely attractive, people just only want to screw you, and that's it.
it's just the way society is and the paparazzi. And yeah, we all want the fame and fortune and recognition, but if it's not for the right reasons, it means nothing. Or it can end up more humiliating or more embarrassing or more upsetting. You know, success is great. I'm not going to say it's not. There's always more. But it's the balance. It's just finding the balance. You know, if it's total obsessiveness and narcissistic and cruel and all about them or me and not you and us, where's the balance? You know, you've heard certain talk show hosts who everybody loves, they win all the awards, but when you're on stage or backstage and how cruel they are or how rude they are or how cold, you hear the stories about what it's like to work with them or what they're really like, you know.
True.
But when you're in front of the camera and you're on TV, everything's, hey, hi.
Yeah, they're on. Hi, I'm such a
It's an act. That's why it's called acting.
True.
Can't be on like that all the time.
I even found these pictures of Black China, like her old face.
Yeah.
On the
She
left,
was normal looking.
She was normal looking. Huh. And then on the right, that's when she started to change things.
Did she lighten her skin as well? Or was it just the blonde hair?
She's done something to her skin.
Yeah, the skin's too light compared to where she was. You know,
Yeah.
Now she's gone back and she's gorgeous again. But you wonder what went on in between. Michael Jackson, look at all the surgeries he had before he died.
True. Even looking at her here, she was cute.
But it wasn't enough, and you don't know what her self-worth and self-esteem said. You don't know.
It had a really nice shape.
She may not have liked the shape, or she may have felt goony, or she might have been insulted or bullied, or she may have had a couple of guys attack her. You don't know what she went through that she didn't like about herself, so she had to reinvent herself to become who she became in the limelight, and then she's done with that. Now she's back to who she was because she's integrated, I think.
Wow. And then then she became that.
Well, good for her. It's not something I would do or wear, but that's not my style anyway, obviously. Everybody to their own, but that's also what she made money doing.
True. That's how she did. Yeah. You know? I love how now she said, don't call me China, call me Angela. And I think that's a good.
She's changed the identity again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for her. A lot of people are being negative about it. I'm happy for her.
Because if they don't have something negative to talk about on social media, there's nothing to do. We talked about that. It's almost like people wake up to bully somebody on social media. It's their job to be negative. You get slammed on certain shows and chats. Thankfully, when you and I do a show, there's a lot of compliments. So I want to thank everybody who watches us.
Yes.
That you're very great. I'm grateful for the way you respond to the two of us working together, even though I'm old enough to be his grandmother. And no, I'm not sleeping with Storm. And if people think we are, we don't. We have dinner. That's about it. He does my candles. Why don't you talk about the candles for a few minutes? Give me a plug. The Wicks of Wisdom.
Yes, the Wicks of Wisdom candles, which
China knocked them off. China did knock off the line, remember?
Oh, she worked. No, China worked with the girl who does money. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. It was a money plot. But no, Wicks of Wisdom. You look, whatever issue you're having, I'm pretty sure there is a candle for you.
There's a set of candles.
But it is work. Rome was not built overnight. And I will say some of you guys also need to incorporate therapy in addition to the candles as well.
Some
um,
people need a lot more than just the candles. Excuse
you
me.
need,
I got
you need
the
a lot
frog
more
in my
than,
throat.
yeah, a lot more than just the candles. But what I was gonna say is it's all about intentions. If you're willing to put in the work, I think it can be a helpful tool. But if you think you're just gonna burn and just
Magic happens. I mean, the magic is there. I've gotten people out of health issues. I've had people win lawsuits. I've had people get new jobs, find their
get out of
soulmate,
jail, keep out of jail.
keep out of jail. It's on my YouTube channel. A girl that was up for jail, sentencing a 20-year sentence with all the candles. We did good luck, power, do as I say, and sweetening judgment. And the judge awarded her freedom when she was up for 20 years in jail for pushing drugs inside of jail.
She owes you her life.
She's talked about it. She doesn't live too far from Los Angeles. We've talked about it, her gratitude. The candles work. There's 3 candles per set with 4 bottles of essential oils and herbs and powders. And then there's a petition, and you learn to write certain words on the petition that get burned in the flame. And then the set takes about 10 to 12, 15 days to work. And then things start to happen. You've had some good successes. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep burning them after 3.5 years.
True.
Every situation is different. It's money, luck, moving, travel, negativity, curses, health, legal, romance, friendship. There's a candle for everything. And my new set is called Integration Power, for us to reacclimate and integrate what's happened since COVID. We're all getting back out in life, and there's some fears and there's some anxiety, and it's to balance and focus with the new set of morals that we have, because we've all kind of opened up spiritually through all the transition.
And people are just weird. People are just kind of weird.
People are very weird now. It's a whole. We're becoming androids. They're taking away our sensitivity. They want us to become more robotic, which is why AI is taking over. I mean, I could sit here in a couple of weeks. You won't know if I'm really me or an AI.
And listen, even with that, and let's talk about that.
What, the AI in the chat and everything?
With all of this AI that's coming up, I have been telling people, number one, pretty much there will be no such thing as a job. It's gonna
go to the robots.
It's gonna go to the robots. Number one. Number two, some of this shit, Linda. Oh, sorry for my French.
Oh, please. Who are you talking to? You're talking to them and us. We won't get censored on that. We got censored, and we talked about a few other topics, though. They took down our show.
They did. But with some of that stuff, you can literally get a week's worth of work done in like 4 to 6 hours or 2 to 3 hours. And I'm just like, in our society, we're going to have a large group of people that cannot take care of themselves because they won't have a job, which then will we go into like a purge, or will we have some kind of universal basic income? Because
I don't know what's going to happen. It's a good point, because one, there's even threat or talk about them taking away the money, and it's all going to go digital. Then if they don't have money, what are we going to do? Now, if the AI is taking over and they can take the job that a human's been doing, but they've been slowly implementing self-serve stations or self-checkout at the market for years. It's been a slow incline of releasing human power and jobs, but for computers.
True.
You don't have to have a gas station attendant anymore, where they used to wash your windows and give you gas. No, you go up, you do it yourself. So that eliminated jobs. You go to any supermarket, and most of the time you don't have checkers. I mean, at Walmart or Target, most stores you still do, but then there's that one aisle where you do it yourself. Just scan.
And if there is a cashier, there's only one or two.
Yeah, and then you're in line for 20 minutes or an hour. Because they don't want to pay anybody to do the work anymore.
But speaking of that, they now have FedNow. Well, first off, the founder of Cashapp was stabbed brutally in San Francisco.
I heard that last week. He died. Did they say why they murdered him?
Listen, we don't
Cashapp.
know.
Yeah, it's Cashapp.
He was the founder of Cashapp. Right after he died, FedNow was announced, which was interesting. They're trying to say it was a homeless person, but here's my thing. People can get anybody to put a hit on somebody. Like I don't know. It doesn't sit right in my spirit. It feels like a hit.
Well, I felt that too. Like, okay, let's get rid of him. And all of a sudden, FedNow comes up. It's
Yeah,
too coincidental, too serendipity type of thing.
yeah,
It's just like when COVID hit and we couldn't eat in a restaurant, but you could eat outside in a tent. So you were outside, inside, inside, outside. And my question was, once we went through lockdown and everybody was scared and homebound and weren't sure, you could go to the gas station, you could go to Macy's, you could go to 7-Eleven, but you couldn't go inside a restaurant, right? But then when you could go to a restaurant, they had all the tents, then they had bamboo utensils, they had the QR codes all of a sudden with the menus. How did it happen so fast? There's so much that goes on. We don't know how it all works and who's behind it. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You got a little man behind a curtain
true.
dictating and directing the movie we're in. So what's Free Tax USA? You find all these things. I have no clue.
Fast-paced
Ed,
world.
now.
Let's see.
Time
What
is
is-
money. In today's fast-paced world, time is money. More people, businesses, and organizations are demanding instant payments. That's why the Federal Reserve is developing the FedNow service, a safe and efficient instant payments infrastructure that will modernize the U.S. payment system. The FedNow service will give financial institutions the opportunity to innovate, enabling their customers to send and receive money in seconds, 24 hours a day,
So it's like
7 days a
Venmo.
week, 365 days a year.
But see, the thing is, we could already know. You know what? Okay. At first, I was like, wait, we already have that technology, but actually, no. Right now, for me to send you money, I mean, I could just send you money, but actually, no, we really have to wait 2 to 3 days for it to clear. This is going to take that away, and I can send you money in seconds.
And this is more government with everybody as opposed to private. Like Venmo's
Yes.
owned by PayPal.
Yes. So this is we don't even really need that anymore. This is gonna be, and it's backed by the Federal Reserve. So
Funds will settle between financial institutions in real time, which means there's no buildup of interbank obligations.
So does
And
it mean
end
that the
users
banks are
will
going to
have
close
access
the
to the
physical
funds and
bank? Can I
Not
go to the bank anymore and go talk to the teller if I want to make a deposit?
eventually,
Will there be
you
cash
won't.
or checks? Who knows?
Eventually, well, it won't be any cash. That's the thing.
seconds. How will the FedNow service work? Imagine the owner of a coffee shop is running low on coffee beans and needs to schedule a quick delivery. She places an order, and the coffee bean company sends her a request for payment. She responds to the request for payment and pays for the coffee beans right then and there through an app from her credit union, which uses the FedNow service. Once she initiates the payment, her credit union screens the payment and sends an ISO 20022 compliant payment message, either directly or through a service provider to the
To the
FedNow
coffee.
service over the Federal Reserve's FedLine network. The FedNow
the-
service instantly validates the payment message and passes it along to the coffee bean supplier's bank.
Wow.
In real time, the supplier's bank confirms to the FedNow service that it intends to accept the payment, and the Fed
We won't have to wait for things to clear anymore. That's what
No.
this is saying.
Well, it's also more control.
It's very and honestly, with this shit here, they could cut off your whole life.
Yes, they can. And that was something I was just thinking about because there's rumor that I have read, and please don't censor us, but it's leading to something like this, that if you don't follow the rules, or if you say something they don't like, or buy something they don't want you to have, or post something they don't approve of, they can turn off your funds. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true. I'm kind of nervous that it might be. I don't know enough. As a psychic, I don't look at that stuff. As a psychic, I stay on people's lives, love, money, moving, travel, health, career, spiritual growth. All this technical stuff and how the world is changing is scary for me because it's happening fast and it's beyond comprehension. And yet it's kind of like, when you were a kid, speaking of when you were a child and you would watch like Baywatch, I used to watch the Jetsons. And we are living the Jetsons life. How did the Jetsons back in the 60s and 70s know about the computers and flying saucers or the little cars? And how did it have all of the computerized, kitchens back then? So what comes first, the egg or the chicken? Have we lived this before? Does it go back to past lives? Have we had this in society in a past life and we're just reliving it? It's fun to think, well, how did somebody have that vision to create that cartoon with Hanna-Barbera way back then? And now we're in living with what the Jetsons knew 45, 50 years ago, 60 years. How did that happen?
That's a good point.
Think about it.
Now service debits and credits the master accounts of both the shop owners and the coffee bean suppliers' financial institutions or the master accounts of their correspondents. The FedNow service also immediately sends a payment message with an advice of credit to the supplier's bank and notifies the shop owner's credit union that settlement.
So you go to order coffee. You pay through FedNow. The coffee supplier gets the payment. How are we guaranteed, or how are you guaranteed for shipment of the beans? How do we know they're going to give you the beans? I mean, of course, on the honor system, they're being paid. And then there's those greedy people who already got the money. They'll just say it got lost in the mail. No, because now we track the mail. Everything's tracked. So, yes, they have to honor the payment for the purchase of the product or the service. True. Otherwise, what happens if they fail? Do they talk about that in this video?
Maybe, but if it's tracked with that ISO 20022, you can easily go back to when the transaction was initiated.
Yeah, hey, I paid my $850 for 3 pounds of coffee beans. Where are my coffee beans?
Settlement is complete. Finally, the supplier's bank credits the supplier's account in near real time, making the funds available. The supplier's bank will have the option of sending a confirmation to the shop owner's credit union that the payment has been posted to the supplier's account.
This is one big financial web. Oh my God.
Yeah, but they still haven't said how the coffee store is going to get the coffee beans.
Providing the coffee shop owner with certainty that the payment was received.
Okay.
The FedNow service will be designed to be flexible and support a broad range of potential use cases. Banks, credit unions, and other industry providers can use it as a springboard for innovation to support a range of applications such as account-to-account transfers and bill pay. For example, now imagine it's after hours and the shop owner gets a reminder that her car insurance bill is due today.
No, we never got the coffee beans.
Now we're on the car insurance.
Where are the coffee beans?
And selecting to pay it now. Later, she repays a friend for a pizza they shared using an app provided by her credit union that clears and settles through the FedNow service.
Venmo and Cashapp and all the others.
Yeah, but the thing with Venmo and Cashapp is sometimes is
private.
To get the full it's private, and to get the full amount, it still takes 2 to 3 days. This is all going to be instant. If I send you $20, you have the full $20
within 20. Yeah, but I never got the coffee beans. And the reason I'm talking about coffee beans is, as a business owner, I purchase inventory. I buy the candles, I buy the oils, I buy the herbs, and I buy the boxes, I buy the stuffing, I buy the paper to make the petitions. You know, I have to purchase product. So I pay for the products for my inventory. They're talking about these payment opportunities through the unions, but they never say how you're going to get your inventory. They bought coffee beans. Now we're talking car insurance. I want to know what happened to the coffee beans. It's like, where are my candles?
Oh my goodness. I don't know where
I can pay for, 800 candles, but I may never see the candles.
That's a good point. But they're going to get their payment right away.
Exactly. What are you opening up? You gonna have a piece of gum? I can hear
you.
No.
Oh, no. These are nothing else.
It's a box of rubbers. What are you doing? Getting ready for later?
Oh, no. No. To be fair, I haven't had sex in
a week.
Yeah, it has been a week. It has been a week. According to the internet, they think I'm over here having orgies every day and just.
They don't realize you have to regenerate.
Although I felt like such a slut a couple weeks ago.
What'd you do?
So
from coffee beans to sex. Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. It always goes back here. Rented a hotel room and had a threesome. But anyway,
in LA or Georgia?
No,
or
it was
Arizona. Oh,
It was
okay.
here. Yeah, it was here. It was here. But the funny thing was, it was like I got the room. I got the room. I went in first. They came later. Then they left. It just
No
felt
pun
like
intended.
it felt like such a slut. The mattress was like off the bed.
Were you guys drinking and using, or just being yourselves, or was everybody inebriated? Were they people you knew or call girls? How'd you
No,
do
no,
this?
no. I already knew them. I
Oh,
met
okay.
them at the Swingers Club. I already knew them.
Yeah, he has a membership, folks. I know. We looked it up. Well, I got a
But-
membership in that. Okay. I said, look, it's in this town you want to move to.
but yeah, but no. Though they were, I mean, they were tipsy. You threw me off with that. Yeah, they were tipsy. Cannabis, whatever. But
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever revisit with the same people? Do you have continuous threesomes with the same group, or do you change it up?
It's not always. A lot of times, it is the same group. It's not
Well,
always.
you get to know them. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like you do, and then it's like, oh, so what do you do? Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm a nurse. I'm a teacher. I'm a computer whiz. They're still people, but they're just having sex.
Yeah, they just have crazy or interesting sex lives. Yeah.
Yep. Like you. Like me. Like all of us.
Oh my God. I don't even think I even ever told him on the show. I definitely had sex with like a 65-year-old woman.
Oh, we're very horny.
Oh God.
I'm older than that. We still have sex lives. You have sex after 70 and 80. That doesn't change. The older you get, the more sexual you become.
Really?
The women? Oh, absolutely. We don't dry up. No pun intended. There's no prunage. Trust me. I'm 69 years old. It's a great number.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is crazy.
No, I still have a very strong libido.
But you're human. There's like you're
far. Yeah, but a lot of people shut down. A lot of people don't want it. A lot of people abuse their sexuality. A lot of people shut down with their sexuality. It can also be a very private and a very difficult topic. If we could get into a whole show on sexuality, but a lot of it is how you feel. There were times when I was doing music, when I was in the music industry performing, and I'd always met a guy. I thought, oh my God, but nobody really wanted me. They just wanted to screw that night. And then I got tired of getting picked up for the musician as opposed to me. And I was lonely, but I was working hard, and I gave it up partly because it was like I didn't know then the boundaries, how to separate. Oh, he's just attracted to me because I'm playing guitar, has nothing to do with me as a person.
Yeah.
When I just wanted sex or one night stands or I've had the threesomes, that's different because I knew what I was going into versus the relationship. Like I think my longest relationship was 5 years with one guy, so it's not like I can't commit. Yeah. He was 12 years younger than me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Less than 5 years. Yeah, I outgrew it. I knew it wasn't going anywhere. I can still remember being at the beach one time, and I said, another year or two, we're not going to be together. And he goes, why? I said, because we're going in different directions. How do you know? Well, I knew, but we stayed a good 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
That was that good of sex. It had to be more than sex. I don't think anybody hangs out just for sex. And that's what I tell my clients. It's not just for the sex, because there was a rapport and there was communication and there was interest and we did share a lot and we grew together. But there were boundaries and there were things I didn't like and certain things I did like and certain things I sacrificed and certain things he sacrificed. But at the time, it really was evolving. I knew it wasn't going anywhere. And then I found out he was screwing somebody that I knew. And that was like, that's it. See ya.
Wow.
I found out.
That'll do it.
No. You don't get to betray me. You want to F around on me like that and it comes back to me? Nope. See.
It's somebody you know. Oh.
Yeah. Came back to me third hand and it was true. So we all get hurt. Somehow it always comes back. But yeah, I spent 5 years. My mom always hated him. She always says, you're wasting your time. And in retrospect, She was right.
Aren't they? Her mom's
they're
always right, though.
They're always
They're always
right.
right.
I found a picture of my mom recently, and I've stuck it in the mirror in my bedroom. I can feel it. I can feel her watching me, and I talk to her because I miss my mom. She's gone 14 years. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. You were right about this when you were right about that. No, you weren't right about this. This is where I know I was right. So I'm having these conversations to make myself feel better with my mom. I can channel her. But no, they're right because they watch us. They know us, even though we think we know what's best for us. And there's certain aspects that your mom's not going to go out and have a threesome. She won't understand that part of you. But
that's not a conversation I want to have with her, though.
As long as she doesn't watch the show.
She does.
Hi, Mrs. Monroe.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. No. She.
Next time you're out here in LA, I'm going to tell her. No, I'm kidding.
No, even when we still lived together and she could kind of hear it through the door, I would just hear the TV go up. Like I would just turn the TV up. Like, no. I am an angel. I am a virgin. I am clean and pure.
Sure.
And every time I say that, she goes, "Let me just move. You're gonna get struck by lightning."
No,
but you're right.
We all have these experiences, and you do what you want with them. Hopefully you'll learn from them. But the hard part is letting go of the pain or the betrayal or the upset or the depression or the feeling left behind. There's always something, but then you finally realize your reality is not the past. It's learning to heal in the moment. And that's where I come in to help people to put it together from the past and the moment to where they're headed in the future on a spiritual level. And you've worked through a ton of stuff yourself. I mean, I've known you 3.5 years already, and you're not who you were. You know, you used to jump on the table and do your show, and you don't do that anymore.
A lot of times I forget. I literally used to live stream from the bathtub with a glass of wine. It was just
But look, it got you all your thousands and thousands of followers.
I know, but it's just like when I feel like I blacked out and I was like, I'm going to make this work. And I did.
And you did. So I think we've had enough for one day. If people have any comments, let's hear it. And if you want to contact me off the air or get a reading, healing, channeling session or buy the candles, everything's 15% off right now on the website. Use the code BUTTERFLY. Otherwise, email me. Just go to lindasalvin.com. It's all there. And with Storm, you can always find him almost everywhere. 2-3 times a day online. He's posting something, some crap, somebody's gossip, somebody's rear end, somebody's something. Thanks, Storm Monroe.
Pretty
almost
much.
Every Sunday, we're going to be doing some type of interaction. I want you back on my show, too. We'll have some fun. LindaSalvin.com. Dr. Linda.
Let me know when.
Dr. Linda Salvin on YouTube. But people can reach you too. And one of your girls, who's one of your followers, signed up for the Nucleogenics underneath you. And she just bought 6 products. I trained her how to take the Surge, the drink, the DNA nutrition twice a day. She's got her pre and probiotics. She got the citrus and on the tides. And I think she got the fat burner. So she's doing really well. I'll talk to her next week, but she's just now introducing the products. And you and I were talking. This is based on DNA. So people, you swab your cheeks and you find out certain genetic codes and what you inherited from your parents that could be causing disease in the future. You take a product and it eliminates most of the risk. You start to feel better. You can take other people's products, which I do, Storm does, and then you eliminate them because you find out this is still the best for your body, for what you need to keep it really simple because it's created based on DNA. If you want more information, contact me at lindasalvin.com and then I'll sign you up underneath Storm because he's so busy and I'll be the one to help train you.
All right. I think we're going to call it a day for this.
Yeah, I think you might be busy in a few hours. Maybe they're knocking at your door. Better go get those candles lit. Maybe the romance candles, not the magic candles.
Oh, God, enough of that.
For this week.